right here, right now, on your favorite channel.
Hey everybody, how you doing? In my last video I showed you how to use the Geforce Experience game filters if you've got an NVIDIA card in order to make your iRacing game look absolutely spectacular. As I noted in that video, these changes and these game filters are directly related to the graphics card, which is what displays on your screen that you see. If you use OBS or any other kind of recording software, usually the best case scenario is you point the recorder to the iRacing.exe and get the raw feed from the iRacing game in order to make your recording. That's the best connection. In order for your recording to reflect the Geforce Experience game filters that you see, you must record your actual monitor display. It's all a matter of pointing the recorder to the program that you want it to record. If you don't know what I'm talking about there, I've already covered this in other videos. You can look through my playlist and look through my videos. If you can't find it, just shoot me a comment and I can point you to those videos. So what I'm going to call the Geforce Experience Stutter is here. It's probably because I'm using an old 32-inch screen TV, and if you've got a really nice new monitor, you'll probably not have the same problems. But in the past, I've noticed in very long races, upwards of 20 to 30 minutes or more, that's when the stutter occurs. We're going to take a couple laps in the 360 at Williams Grove. As we send it off into turns 1 and 2, pay attention to the tree line in the background. Here, it's about as smooth as butter. Much deeper into the race, very flip-booky. You can see the stuttering clearly. I'll repeat these clips back to back a couple times. You see that the stuttering is quite obvious. And just to be clear, I do not see the stuttering while I'm racing. It's just the issue between OBS recording my 32-inch old screen TV. If you've got a newer monitor, you probably do not have this problem. But let's just say that occasionally you do notice stuttering, whether it's in-car or more specifically, it seems to be even more pronounced during replay scenes, then I've got the answer here for you today.
Let's go ahead and bring it at this time. 19.909.
Alright, here we are in OBS, and we are currently on my regular display recording page where I'm recording the actual display screen, which in my course again is a 32-inch TV. So you can do this with the iRacing EXE that you have OBS pointed to. However, I'm going to show you this example here on this one so everything shows up. If I click the iRacing EXE, we're not going to see anything. Okay, so pretend that the main right here is your iRacing.exe under the sources. You just click on it so it's active. Then you come up to the main window here, right click on it, and then come down to filters. We're going to add a filter, which is color correction. Okay. Now you see here with the slider bars, we have basically the same options that we had in the Geforce Experience in order to change everything up until we like what we see. Now, you're going to have to do this with iRacing open because you are pointing OBS to the iRacing.exe. But then, load up iRacing, pause it or whatever, and then you would see the iRacing game here in the preview window, and then you can make your adjustments. I messed with these adjustments for quite some time, taking recordings and then comparing it against the Geforce display recording, and just couldn't find anything that I was happy with. I got close, but not close enough. Back where we add a filter, when you click on the plus sign, the very top one you see is Apply LUT. What is a LUT? A LUT, known as lookup table, is a term used to describe a predetermined array of numbers that provide a shortcut for a specific computation. In the context of color grading, a LUT transforms color input values from your camera to your desired output values, which is your final footage. If you Google OBS LUT, you will get thousands of responses. There's just literally hundreds of LUTs out there that people have made, probably using a program that does so, where you can get in there and change the contrast and the brightness and the gamma, etc., etc., etc. And then they save that as what's called a .cube cube file. This file is kind of used as a plug-in. You download these on your computer, and then you can use Apply LUT here in the OBS filter to pick a specific LUT that will change the whole look of your final picture, or in this case, video. I had experimented with LUTs before and didn't really find one that worked for me, so I tried again, looked it up, OBS LUTs. By pure coincidence, I happened to stumble upon a guy that had 30 preset LUTs, and the second one that he built, I think, almost nails it. In the video description, I will include a link to his website where if you just sign up for his newsletter, he will send you these 30 LUTs. You download them, extract them, put them on your computer, and then you can point to them through your OBS filter there, and I'll show you how to do that now. So you've got the LUTs downloaded and extracted temporary place there. First thing you're going to do is come to Program Files, open up OBS Studio, open up Data, open up Plugins, and then come over here to Filters, LUTs. OBS has some generic LUTs that they provide with their program. And then here under this folder here, Downloads, you can see that I've downloaded hundreds of them, and just wasn't very happy with any of them. These film presets, this guy here, Kodachrome, you know, the old school stuff, Kodak Echochrome 320. I mean, he's got them all here. I mean, you can really get pretty specific with this. So anyway, under the downloaded OBS LUTs, this is the one that I just most recently downloaded, and I put it in here because when you click the Apply LUTs filter in OBS, it'll bring you right here by default to the OBS filters. You can put the LUTs anywhere you want on the computer, but you're going to have to jump through the hoops to get to that folder to point to them. Okay, so here we are, OBS LUTs. These are the 30 that I just got from Gaming Careers, his website. Here they are extracted, and here's all of his various LUTs. He just named them randomly. I don't know how to read these. You know, I suppose the colors kind of indicate what they're doing. Of course, here, grayscale, that's Willis. But anyway, so I started jumping through these in the Apply LUTs, and I found out that this one here, Barrera, is just about perfect. So what I did is I brought that over to my desktop, copied it there, then I renamed it iRacing Sunny 50 because I'm using it at 50% power. Alright, let's get into OBS and apply this. Okay, here we are back in OBS, and remember, you would actually have this on one of the scenes that you use for iRacing, which the source would be the iRacing.exe. I'm having to use this in order to record OBS. I think there's another way around that, but I don't know how to do that. Okay, so one more time, just pretend that main is iRacing.exe. We just click on underneath sources, and then come up here to the window, right click just like we did before, filters, click on that, plus sign to add a filter. Now we're going to apply LUT. Apply LUT, okay, you can name that anything you want, we'll just apply LUT. Come over here, browse just like you would normally do anything else. Okay, here we are in Program Files, OBS Data, Plugins, Filters, LUTs. This is the folder that I created of the downloaded ones. Open that one. And then we got the OBS 30 that I just downloaded here today, LUTs, and iRacing Sunny. Now, you can see how that changed things here on the display. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and hit the minus sign and make it disappear. Yes, and you see how things changed. Now, that was pretty graphic change because remember, I am applying this to my display and not the iRacing EXE. You would have iRacing up, of course, and then you would see in the preview window here, you in the cockpit or your external view or whatever, and you would see the difference there. Okay, then down here, This slider bar, one slider bar, that's it, is the percentage of the LUT that you want to apply. We can turn it all the way off, pretty ridiculous, or all the way up. I found out with the iRacing EXE up there in my preview window, about 50 was what I liked. So I did some more test recordings and I thought, man, I want to tweak this just a little bit more. So I came over here into OBS, applied a color filter, the color correction filter, and as you can see here, very minimal changes. I've got gamma at 0.15, contrast at 0.30, and left everything else at 0. And those did make some changes. Very subtle changes, but you could see them. Alright, so now I've got a pretty picture to look at using the Geforce experience. That's what I see on the display. And I have damn near duplicated that for replays and the live in-car camera view directly from the iRacing.exe using the LUT in OBS. And as I said once before, if you've got a good monitor and you can record the display, then you don't have to jump through any of these hoops with OBS or any other recorder that you have. But you know, if you ever notice stuttering or anything, this is the workaround. Okay, so let's take a look at the 4 examples that I have up here. Upper left-hand corner, naked iRacing. That's from the EXE. Upper right-hand corner is the Geforce display capture that is recording my 32-inch TV. Lower left is the OBS LUT, and the lower right is the OBS LUT with that slight color adjustment that I made at the end. And the OBS LUT examples are recording directly from the iRacing.exe. Let's rock! The first thing that really stands out to me is how the OBS LUT with that slight color adjustment that I made on the lower right there, how much lighter that is compared to the left one. Just very little clicks and it made a whole lot of difference. In this 4-way panel view, I pause several times, usually when there's some sky and trees and some other colors to look at. While the OBS LUT with color sky is not near as blue as the Geforce blue, I think I had the blue set just a little too high on the Geforce display. The OBS LUT with color isn't a perfect match to the Geforce display coloring, but I think it's darn close. And in some cases, I think it's even just a little bit better. There's some trade-off between the two. I'm not seeing the deep, rich blue sky in the OBS LUT with color like I am on the Geforce monitor filters, but I think again that that's a little on the too blue side, so I'm happy with the OBS LUT with color representing the sky as it does. It's a hell of a lot better than the naked iRacing. Now here you're going to see that the OBS LUT without the color fix looks almost exact to the Geforce in the sky, but you know what, there's so many changing conditions, you know, with the contrast and the brightness and everything. Just like in real life, you can't have perfection all the time, every time. You gotta find some compromise. As I mentioned with the various changing conditions, you've got night races, you've got overcast days, you've got dirt races, you got dirt night races, yada yada yada. So with these changing conditions, there are going to be needed adjustments, and I found out with the Geforce experience they were pretty slight in order to come out with a good looking product. So as I'll mention one more time like I did in the other video, you can go to the in-game 2 filters there, brightness and gamma, and make some adjustments there that might appease you overall. If nothing else, I will duplicate the OBS scene that has the iRacing.exe and then change the actual LUTs and the color correction filters in OBS to that scene. I'll have one scene labeled iRacing Day, one iRacing night, maybe iRacing Dirt. You know, there's all kinds of possibilities. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, see that other video on how to set up OBS to record iRacing. Alright guys and gals, that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully you can take something from this video and put it to use for yourself. Thanks for coming along for the ride, and hope to see you next time.